Hey guys, and welcome to a new series on my channel. Recently I asked you guys whether or not you'd be interested in seeing a palette a day series. A couple of you did say you'd be interested in seeing that series testing all of the indie brand eyeshadow palettes that I have in my collection, and these are brand new to me. I made it kind of a mission in my personal life to support more independent brands and get more into indie eyeshadow brands. So I have been hauling a bunch. I've got a bunch of different indie brand haul shadow videos on my channel. I think there's 4 installments, and I will be trying to link those in the description box in case you guys are interested in checking them out and you haven't already. But I have 45 palettes that I have not tested, I have not put on my eyes. I have swatched most of these in the haul video, but in these videos I am going to fully swatch all of the palettes before we do one look. Not all of these palettes are still available. I noticed that after hauling them, some of them sell out. That's how indie brand shadows go. But in case some of them do come back in stock, and in case you guys have these palettes in your current collection and are interested in seeing a look, I am going to include all of the palettes that I hauled, regardless of whether or not they are still available. I am just picking the palettes that are really calling to me the day that I come up here to film these videos. And if you are interested in me doing a look with any one of those next, please leave it in the comments below. If you guys aren't currently subscribed, I'd love to see you subscribe. You guys, let's get into it. Today we've got Notoriously Morbid, the Rusted Essence palette on the agenda. I have 2 or 3 palettes that I picked up from Notoriously Morbid on my first purchase with them, but I have tested none or neither of those palettes on my eyes. The only thing that I've done with these palettes is swatch them so far. And if you guys watched any of my haul videos, you know I was not overly impressed with the swatches. These shades were super crumbly. This one came broken. It's a nice, very foiled shimmer shade. Some of these other metallic shades were not very metallic. They were basically like satins on my eyes. I don't know if they've improved their formula. This appears to be like an older palette, and it's totally gone from their list of palettes on their website as of this morning when I checked. And I do feel like I probably got this at a discount, and that's part of the reason I probably picked it up, but also I just like the color story. So it is a very fall themed palette. I think we're gonna go with a pretty grungy look today. That's just what I'm feeling. Even though it is a bright, beautiful, sunny day outside, it's a nice 52 degrees out there. And there are 3 more fall palettes to go after this, all from different brands, some that I have tried and some that I haven't. So I hope that you guys stick around for that. Let's get to swatching this and let's put one look together. I'm dying to see how this formula performs. All right, I cannot tell you guys anything about the palette, whether it's a pressed pigment or an eyeshadow palette, because it doesn't say, and it's not on their website, so there's really no information. I'm assuming that these are all pressed pigments because on the back it says not lip safe, and then some of them say lip safe, so maybe it's a combination of the two. And because these shades are so crumbly, I really have to like be careful when I'm turning it over, and there are no shade names on this palette. They're on the back of it, which is fine for me. I don't really care what the shade names are unless I'm calling them out for you guys, which is kind of annoying. So I think we'll just skip the shade names because turning it over for each shade with how crumbly this formula is probably not feasible. But this first one here is a super deep burgundy matte shade, but I'm afraid of it just crumbling. It was already crumbling in the pan. This is definitely the one that I want to go for today because there's really only 3 matte shades in this palette. The rest are shimmers. You've got this one, you have this one, and this one over here. This one is more of like a super heavy metallic shade, and this one right here is a duochrome. You can kind of see it flip. I don't know if it's flipping super well in the pan, but it's like a bluish purple, and it's a really pretty blue purple flip. And then this one of course is like a really chunky foiled, and that one also kind of looks like a duochrome. It's gold to pink. So yeah, I mean your 3 matte shades here are 1, 2, and 3. However, I do like that there is that burgundy shade in here because that's just a really lovely shade in general, but it's great for deepening the outer corner. This is one of the like metallics, just regular metallic shades. Honestly, feeling this swatched out the second time around feels so much better than when I was swatching it the first time. However, I don't think it was this palette necessarily that was like crumbling excessively on me. I think it was one of the other ones that I picked up. Although this is crumbling like a little bit, especially the matte shades. Yeah, it's falling apart. They're very powdery in the pan. Oh, it's even falling. That orange shade is just a bunch of powder. I'd love to know from you guys whether or not that's normal for their formula, whether it's changed, whether it's just something with this palette in general, if you guys have tried this particular palette, or whether their formula is just always like this. I'd love to know because the couple that I swatched, they all feel the same. Oh yeah, this is the next shimmer, and it's, see the chunk? I just knocked it off. Like, this is crazy. It's so piecey and falling apart. I'm gonna have shimmer and shadow everywhere. These are nicer shimmers than I thought that they were gonna be, or what I remember anyway. All right, this one right here is the blue to purple flip. It's also just majorly chunky. It's really pretty though. I feel like I would love to wear this shade right there. Oh, I think we will. That's just so gorgeous. I'm blowing off the loose shadow every single time I swatch these. This is just unreal. All right, here's the deep yucky green color. I really like this though. I love greens that are like this, just like murky greens. I think we'll probably bring that one in as well. All right, here's to me attempting to swatch this Folly Apart one. When I opened the palette, part of it broke again and fell all over the floor. So even though I've repressed this, it doesn't repress the greatest. It was a loose shade to begin with, and that's probably why it came broken. Oh, that is piecey, chunky, not even laying evenly on my swatch. It feels like silk, but that was harder to rub in than I thought it was gonna be, and there's a ton left over on my hands. Not a huge base on this. It's still pretty though. The overall effect ain't bad. All right, I do like this one. This is a really interesting sparkle shimmer. You can really see what I mean by like just sparkly shimmer. Oh, it's kind of glittery actually. I don't know if I would call it sparkly. Has a pretty weak base and it's mostly glitter. Interesting. I mean, I like that they're doing different textures. Don't get me wrong. You've got one that appears to be a multi-chrome, one that's more chunky. This one's kind of glittery or sparkly even maybe. 3 that are just more metallics. So they did variety, which is something that I look for, especially in a smaller 9-pan like this. I just don't know if I love the variety yet. I don't know if I love the formula of the variety yet. And this is the deepest orange shimmer. I am concerned that it'll pull very similar to the other one right here. Oh, well, I don't think so. Like, look how dense that is. That is so much more pigmented than the other one in such a deeper shade as well. There's the full color story. So long as these perform really well, this could be a really interesting palette. Like, you could get some fun looks out of it. It's just, will it do what it's intended to do? We shall see. So a lot of times I go into this thinking I don't know what shimmer I'm gonna use, but I do know what shimmer we're gonna use today. We're gonna use that purple multi-chrome and hope that I can get it to stick to the eyes. Watch me be absolutely blown away by the quality of this. I will eat my words, okay? I will, but the swatching is very strange. I'm starting with the deepest burgundy shade and I'm going into the outer corner first, and then I'm gonna buff it in with the green matte. I just think that those would look too good together. So this one right here, and then we're gonna go for the blue purple shift duochrome. I did set my eyes today. Let's go ahead and put this in the outer corner and get started. All right away, look how smoky that is. It's not quite as burgundy on my eyes as it is in the pan, which could be a good or bad thing, but like, it's lacking a lot of color. Back on camera, I think you can see more burgundy than I actually can in person. It just looks kind of like dark, like maybe a dark gray or even like a dark brown, just overall pretty smoky. And I'm already getting some skippiness like when I'm dragging it, but it's great for packing. I'm hoping it's great for blending. Because it's such a smoky shade, blending it into another shade would be fabulous, especially because it's such a deep shade. We'll see how it blends out. Why did I get this side so much darker? Okay guys, please just trust the process here and hopefully there is one. Okay, I picked up way too much on the left side. That's okay. I think we're gonna buff it out with the green shade. So I'm gonna take a much fluffier brush. I don't know what this is. Clarity Cosmetics K946, and we're going around the edges and I'm going all the way in. Oh, you know, I love greens and I love burgundies, but they're the 2 shades that I find, like purple and green anyway, skip the most, or even are the hardest to work with, hardest to blend out. So why are they my favorite? Am I just like a glutton for punishment? Is that what it is? It immediately took away that purple shade. Do you see how like it got really patchy? The green just took over. It didn't blend together great. I had to go in with kind of a deeper hand, heavier hand, so that I could blend out some of the skipping that happened with that green. So that's part of it. Oh, I think we're gonna be doing damage control. Right, let's add that color back. And I'm just gonna take what I can with the brush and buff it out instead of trying to move it with a different brush, blending that green in. I think we're just gonna add it back and like move on with our life. This is an absolute smoky hot mess. I told you guys, trust the process, please, 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 please. All right, let's take the shimmer and let's just dump this sucker literally everywhere so we can cover up some of the patchiness that happened with the green. And we're gonna do some cleanup at the end. I'm gonna let this shimmer be the primary because it's the prettiest thing of this look. And this is quite a pretty shade all on its own. It's like this mermaidy beautifulness. I might like this palette just for this shade because I don't have anything like it. Now this is not light reflecting, even in the slightest, but it's flippy. Like, how did they do that? I don't know. Okay, so I hated the murky green. It didn't blend well, and it also wasn't the right tone, I think, for this particular shimmer, if you kind of want to call it that. It's more like a satin duochrome, I think is what this blue shade is. So I did add like a little bit of like greenish, tealish sparkle from a different palette. I've never had to do that before, but I just didn't think that the shades looked really good together. So I did it. Now I'm going to deepen this outer corner again, just a little bit. And I already did like clean up my edges. I just did that off camera, but I think I took it a little bit too high over here. So I'm gonna try and add it back and then take it off again. Just cut my edge just a little bit lower. And I think that's fine, but that was so freaking weird. Like what I was doing to try and make that work. I don't know if it did work. It's kind of one of the weirdest looks I've ever put together. I'm not even kidding. Like, why did I put the sparkle so high? I don't even know. I don't know, you guys. I don't know how I feel about it. I think we need lashes, and we're definitely going to need lower lash line work. So we'll see how it turns out after that. I would say it was a little bit of a struggle. And where is the burgundy? Does it really look burgundy back on camera to you guys? You're gonna have to let me know. I think I'm gonna use lashes to try and salvage the look a little bit. So let me go do that. Let me go finish my makeup. We'll come back and we'll talk final thoughts. I struggled with the lashes too. I bought some new lashes for my birthday at Ulta. The So Wispy from Kiss, and I hated these. These were way too big. So I grabbed the other ones that I got from Kiss, which were the new natural. These are in Nude Blazer. I thought they were gonna be too light, but I was having trouble sticking them on. The lashes are really spread apart, so you could like really see the band. So I was adding liner, and then I just kept adding more liner and more liner. Anyway, we added more liner than we wanted to. Let's finish up with the lower lash line so we can talk final thoughts. I'm gonna go into a teal liner, the cream gel liner in Power Trip from ColourPop. This one's a shifty one, but it's super dark. It's teal to purple, which will probably match this look really good. I was gonna go with black, and then I saw this one and I thought, oh no, this one's perfect. Yes, I think that is absolutely what I wanted. So I'm going to take the duochrome on the bottom actually, but I'm gonna start with this one, go super tight with the lash line, and then smoke it out with that one right there. It is so cold upstairs. The heater is on, but it's not on like super high because, you know, it's Florida and all, but my nose is running up here as I'm like trying to do my makeup. All right, now into that duochrome for the bottom to smoke out this deeper shade. I just thought that would look pretty and smoky and whatever. Ooh, it is kind of sparkly. It's pretty. Now for the lower lashes, you guys, I'm going into the Gucci mascara. Ooh, that actually got a little flaky and a lot intense. I did forget to throw on a highlighter, which I want to do. So I'm going to throw on a Jaclyn Cosmetics Mini in the shade Iced. This is obviously a product that doesn't exist anymore. So I do have it up here on my filming station just so I can get some use out of it because I like it and I don't want to let it go just because it's no longer a brand or a thing. I don't know. She just made highlighters really well. Okay, you guys, prepare yourself for this final review. If you're a Notoriously Morbid fan, did I get it to a place that I can stand? Yes. Was it kind of a nightmare? And did it turn out totally different than I thought it was going to? Also, yes. The fact that these are so powdery and chunky is the first immediate turn off. Again, this could just be this palette that is doing that and not all of their formula is like this. So I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on whether or not this is like a standard formula, whether it's been improved, etc. I like when an eyeshadow palette surprises me in a good way, not in a bad way. Not that the look turned out differently, but it was more of a struggle. This is just crazy. Like, I ended up bringing in a different color because I hated the green and I didn't have any other way to save it with this particular palette, I thought. So I kind of went sparkly, way super high. It wasn't at all what I was hoping or envisioning. I think my favorite thing about this palette was this shade right here. And this is not an overly light reflective shade. So it's kind of a shade that you could use all over if you wanted to. Like, even if you wanted to kind of use it as like a standalone. But I don't know that pairing it with the only like deep matte in here was fabulous. Like, this came out not burgundy on my eyes. I don't even know that you can tell that I used it other than my eye look is dark. It just was like smoky and dark, and the green was patchy. Like, I didn't really find any real redeeming qualities about this palette aside from the color story and then this one shade right here, which I think I was actually skeptical about when I initially started. I'd be interested to see how this shade performs and then this shade performs, but what am I gonna pair it with if this shade over here just comes out black? And also, it has to be the only shade. It was great at packing, but it wasn't good at blending out. The minute I started to blend it, it was like, oh, where's it going? Where's it going? And then the green shade was taking over. I think the bottom line is I just really struggled with this, and it definitely didn't turn out to be exactly what I thought it was gonna be. And I was making it work instead of it working for me. I wasn't surprised in a good way. It's such a shame. Like, look at the color story. What is this? What is this right here? That's supposed to be the middle shade. That's the blue to green. Yeah, that doesn't look like it at all. And this shade here looks like straight up rainbow in the picture, and that's that gold one. I'm not sure what I'm thinking. I'm not overall impressed with this, and I think it's going to be a struggle for me to reach for it again on a day when I really need to go. I need to get out and about. I just don't see myself reaching for this any day that I'm not sitting here messing around, because I'd be scared how the formula would perform. But again, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Maybe this is an older palette and discontinued. Again, the formula has improved, and I hope that that's the case. Based on this, I probably wouldn't repurchase another palette, but you guys tell me what you've experienced with Notoriously Morbid. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was a little bit of a chaotic video, but they're not all great palettes, and that's just what I'm finding. That's what it's going to be for me, for you guys in your own personal use. Everybody just has a different experience and is expecting different things. So that's kind of what I got from this palette. Anyway, if you guys aren't currently subscribed, I'd love to see you subscribe, you guys. I'm out of here for today, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye, guys.